Hari Om, I'm Swami Satchitananda here. Today I want to talk to you about a very interesting topic. I know most people in the West, if they want to throw stones on the culture in India, they will say, silly fellows, this is a caste system. They still believe in caste system and they do this and they do that. So I thought I must spend a little time explaining to you what the four types of people, groupings of people are there according to the Vedas. Okay. The first group of people are people who are like intellectual people. They are more maybe spiritual people. They are people who are philosophers. They are people who are searchers, and so on and so forth. Okay. Here that group is called Brahmanas, right? Brahmanas are those people who are searching for the ultimate truth, okay? Exploring, finding out, involved in carrying forward the Vedas from one generation to another generation, being pujaris and priests and various temples and so on and so forth. And this is group number one. Okay? The second group is called Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas are those people who are involved in action. They mostly they are very dynamic people. They need action, and you will find such people involved as in army, navy, whatever the ground forces and space forces are there of a country, okay? Protecting the country, the police forces, and so on. And you will find there particular families also who take pride in the fact that their children have gone out to protect the country. And their children also are very proud that their children have gone out to protect the country. And even the loss of a child does not affect them so badly as it do to a normal person. So these people are called Kshatriyas, okay? Highly action oriented, and they are involved in this kind of activities. These kind of people are also to be found all over the earth, not only in one community. Just like scientists and philosophers are found in every country, these people are, and they form a considerably large portion. Consider today that the countries are spending so much on armaments, so much money on protection, right, and preparedness for war. And look at the large number of people that are being utilized for this purpose, right? So what they call current ones who are working and veterans who have worked before. So huge community. So these form the second grouping of people who are very active and who are sincere in that in some way, right? In their they have some value orientations and they are sincere in doing what they work. The third group of people are called Vaishyas. Okay? Vaishyas are the people who are involved in business. Any kind of business, small to big, right? Now, you need a business, right? And any economy needs a business. So, they are the people who are innovative, who are entrepreneurs, who would like to go out and do something that will generate money, who can use money to generate more money. While you'll be getting money and you'll be spending it, that man will be generating more money and more money and more money, using money either by myself or from the banks or whatever it is. You'll be surprised that you know already that many Indians and the top billionaires list. And we are not a rich country. We started day before yesterday, okay? So these people, because that group has got that attitude. And every person in the world has this. Every group, every country has this group of people who are high on entrepreneurship. Everybody cannot do that. Everybody cannot generate that kind of money. Everybody cannot do that kind of business. So these people are capable of action and they are capable of generating large number of funds. They keep the economy running, but tend to be a little selfish. Okay. I will come to that portion later on. And the last, of course, are called here Sudras. Sudra does not mean lower than or higher than. It means those people who are available for the other day-to-day services in society. You know how many services are there in society which is done by people? We never recognize them. Okay? Take for example this COVID came. Did we give importance to nurses so much as we gave it during the time of the COVID? Only at the time of COVID we realized, oh, there are nurses also. Right? And we must protect them also. Before that, no one talked about nurses. It never became an important thing. So too, there are people who are cleaning, who are keeping the places clean, who are doing enormous number of activities to support the others. And these group of people are called Sudras. Now, as a person who is living inside the country or outside the country, you have read these 4 different castes or groupings of people based on attitude. You know, you have taken it in a wrong meaning. Of course, people in the country have misutilized that grouping and tried to exploit it, right? In the past it has happened, and that is why probably you look at the India as a caste. But you are doing the same thing. Look at your own country. You have the groups everywhere, any country. Same groups are there. There are certain people who are being exploited. And there are certain people who are kept on the borderline of living. And there are certain people who are entrepreneurs. There are certain people who are protectors. And there are certain people who are philosophers, who are researching, who are going into space, who are working for next 2 generations, 3 generations. So this grouping is based on attitudes. Because you don't understand the attitudes, you don't understand these groupings. So I want to touch upon the attitudes. Now, we say that when the universe began from a point in eternity and it blasted off into the universe that we see today, it had 3 qualities. The Vedic Shastras, they say, this consists of 3 qualities. They call Triguna, means 3 gunas or 3 qualities. 3 qualities means the first quality is called Sattva. Sattva means purity of mind, right? Willingness to be supportive, wanting to reach the higher goals of life, and so on and so forth. And the second one is called Rajas. Rajas is activity. And the whole universe, you know, is in activity. Nothing can remain in place like that, just as your life is. Nothing remains in one place. The earth never remains in one place. The moon never remains in one place. The planets don't remain in one place. The sun never remains in one place. The galaxy doesn't remain in one place. This is the universe. It's called Rajas. Third one is called Tamas. Tamas is lethargic, which requires to be pushed for action, which is will do, but the overall attitude is one of sluggishness. Okay? So all these 3 elements, when they are in balance, in the seed, in the point of eternity, the seed will be thumping its whole life. The moment an imbalance comes in these 3 qualities, it will blast off. And everything in the universe will necessarily have to have these 3 qualities. Okay. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Okay. Now let me come to the 4 castings or groupings of people. In the case, in India, we use the word Brahmana. In the case of Brahmanas, if you look at their quality, they are high on purity or high on Sattva. They are high on Sattva. It doesn't mean that they don't have Rajas or Tamas. The backup is Rajas and least is Tamas. These people are involved in activities of creation, activities of research, activities of prayer. They are peaceful people, all right? They are balanced people, and it is these people who have actually been able to perpetuate the Vedas, which is an oral tradition for so many years. Okay. Now, if you look at the same community outside, anywhere in the world, this community exists. Look at the quality of researchers that we have. If you look at pure science, physics, chemistry, mathematics, whatever, all of them have got fantastic people. And because of those kind of people, today we know so many things which we would otherwise not know. And using that knowledge, we are able to make progress in our lives today, material lives today. But by themselves, they seem quite in the background. All right? They will get a Nobel Prize at best. Okay. The best known, of course, is Albert Einstein. But there are many, many others. Many, many others. So they remain quietly in the background. I will tell you, this man who discovered boson element in the atom, he did not know that he was being given the Nobel Prize. So he was in his own work. He had disappeared. He worked in CERN, and when he heard this was being given, he disappeared somewhere. So they were trying to contact him to tell him that you have to come to collect this. And they could not communicate with him because he was not there. And our man was sitting somewhere. He said, this is a big distraction, you know. Once they give the Nobel Prize, everybody will call me, everybody will talk to me. It's very difficult. I can't do my work. Look at that. On one hand, you are being recognized by the world as one of the top people. On the other hand, the person who is committed to this work says this is a distraction. That is
Brahmana.
That is called Sattva. This Sattva, that is a purity. All of us have that element of purity in that when we reach our higher levels. The second level is called Rajas. Rajas is quite easy to understand. Okay? Everything moves, everything moves, everything moves. The sun moves, the earth moves, the planet moves, the galaxy moves, everything moves. Without movement, there is no universe. And it is the movement that, through the movement, the whole world is held up. And if you look at the individual, such a person is highly active. For such children, when they become active like this, when they are child, they are diagnosed as super active and they are given some tablets to control them. This is the way we deal with that. Okay. Instead of engaging that child in activities which it can dissipate, you give a tablet so that he remains, in slumber, part slumber through his childhood. Okay. So that is an activity, and we need people like that who can move out, who can do things. Right? And the second group of people, therefore, relate to this part. And they are called Kshatriyas. Kshatriyas, you will see, are generally the people who are in the army, navy, all the forces, armed forces. And they are the ones whose family, generation after generation, they seem to like doing this. Generation after generation, they want to protect the country. They take pride in that. Right? So it's not that these so-called groupings are available only in India. It's available everywhere in the world. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The third grouping are called Vaishyas. Vaishyas are people who are involved in business. Now, the combination is something like this. In the case of a Rajasic person, okay, you can also do your own diagnosis. The Rajas will be very high, the Sattva will be back up, and the Tamas will be less. Okay? In the case of a Sattvic person, the Brahmana, the Sattva will be very high, backup will be Rajas, and tamas will be low. Now let's come to this group called Vaishyas who are involved in business. They are also very active people. They can do things which otherwise is very difficult to do. And they are the people who run the economy for us. They are the people who run the bank. They are the people who are doing many things around, making the whole economy run. We are a consumer-based economy now. If we didn't have that kind of people, whole economy will be down. And everybody say that is the death of the world, okay? As if an atom bomb has exploded. So we are very important people. Now, if you look at the characteristic of this person, very interesting. Rajas is dominating, followed by tamas. And then the last attitude is one of rajas. Rajas dominator is sattva. So such a person is dominated by rajas, backed up by tamas, and very low end is sattva. So what makes it that way when the tamas is low, when the tamas is there as a backup? What happens to a person? They bend to become selfish. They are very active, right? They will do business. They will give something, but it's like dropping things for dogs, just throw something out over there. Right? You would know so many of the rich people in the country today, if they decided to do one small action, even give 5% of what they have, just 5%, the concept of poverty will not be there anywhere in the world. Only with 5% of a few hundred people. But it will not happen. Why? Because tamas is there. Okay? This is the reality. It's not that they won't give. They will give. We have interesting people. They will give for publicity. They will put up a hospital for publicity. They will put up a temple for publicity. Because they want themselves to be known. So there is an element of selfishness involved in that. And the last, of course, is the Sudras. Sudras are the people who are available to society to do all kinds of action. Without doing that, your city will stink to glory. Without doing that, your hospitals will not be able to function. Without that, the teaching children will not be there. There are many, many thousands of activities in every shop, in every center, where people are working for day-to-day wages practically. Day-to-day wages. Who are unable to save, who are living month to month. But providing very crucial services to the society. This section is called Sudras. Now, it's not that it's available only in India. It's available everywhere in the world. Look properly and tell me it's not there. So, this caste system, instead of throwing stones...
How is connected to Tamas Rajas at the last group?
So instead of throwing stones, you must understand that these are groupings of personality. These are groupings of kind of personality which are in 4 forms. That is what Vedas say. Right? In the first group, the sattva will be very high. Right? Backed up by rajas and tamas. In the second group, rajas will be very high, backed up by rajas and tamas. In the third group, the rajas will be very high, backed up by tamas and then sattva. In the last group, tamas will be very high and rajas and sattva will be low. Now,
what does it mean, tamas very high?
So, in case of tamas, what is tamas actually? When you talked about the third quality, right? So, tamas means person requires pushing. In the universe also, we know that things are stable unless you push it, like a rock, stone, whatever it is. They require inertia. So, a person You would have seen persons like that, I'm sure. He goes to work for 6 to 8 hours, working hard. He comes back, he sits on the couch, takes his burgers or takes his chips and keeping on looking at the TV until he goes to sleep. Then when he wakes up again, he says, get up, it's time to go to bed, time to work, time to work. So he will go, he will work, do difficult jobs and then come back again in a lethargic state. Now, these people are very important people. They may not rise to the level of intellectuality which the Brahmins have, or the level of action which the Kshatriyas have, all right? Or the amount of creative action for business like the Vaishnavas have. But they are the one who are providing services. Now, the reason why the world is looking upon these caste system, I'll put it in inverted commas, is because like every system grouping, people try to take advantage of that. And that has happened. And that is the reason why they talk about caste system. But I can assure you that the same thing happens even in the richest country in the world. Don't allow me to explain it now, but I'll explain it later on also. The same thing happens in every country of the world. These groupings of peoples are attitudes of people that are put together. And that is why when Vedas talk about, they talk about groupings of attitudes. This attitude comes from your past life. You cannot change it. It's not possible to change it today. But it's an inert quality that they already have. So even among brothers and sisters, you will see that somebody is more sattvic quality. A child, if you give them non-veg food, they will say, no, I won't take it. Nobody has told her meat is not good, or I won't take it, sorry. In the same way, there are other people who are very active. There are some people who are very creative. They want to get into business. There are other people who will go do anything which is available. Even in a family, you will find the dispersion of these three qualities. And it is found in everything in the universe. All right? And this is the nature of the universe. So when you are seeing the nature of the universe, it means also that humans also are covered by the same attitude. And therefore the groupings have been made so that the society benefits from that. The society benefits from that. It's not for grouping. It doesn't mean that a person who is at the lowest level, the so-called lowest level of Sudra, cannot become a Brahmin. The Vedas say the Brahmin is a quality. It's called Guna Brahmana. If you are having Sattva, then you will be a Brahmin. In fact, Valmiki Ramayana, which is called, he was a plunderer, he was a murderer. But then he rose from that level to a Guna Brahmana. That means a person with that quality of Sattva, to such a level, high level of quality, that he could write the Ramayana, right? And it lasted for centuries together. On the other hand, there is another sage called Veda Vyasa. He organized all the Vedas together. He has made a tremendous amount of work. He is the son of a fisherman. So, but he rose to the level of Guna Brahmana, and therefore was able to write all these various scripts together, put things together, organize it together for other people to come. So it is possible for anybody, because the essential person, spiritual person is there in everyone. So it is possible for anyone. If you increase your sattva consistently through practice of asanas, meditation, through scriptures, through meditation, through understanding yourself more, right? Your attitude will change. Your sattva will increase. Many people, when they come for yoga, they say, we got good relief. Why? Because you are a rajasic person and your sattva you have increased. Therefore you feel different. Therefore you are able to touch some aspect of spirituality. So it is possible for any person, in any group, to be able to rise up to the highest level. And so not to, nigger as if it is available only in India or some third world countries. It's available in your country and it's available everywhere where people exist. This knowledge you must have. Hari Om.